Hi, welcome to my video. I'm Jennifer Roberts. You're catching me on my YouTube channel, True Divine 44. You can get me on Bitchute, True Divine 44, Facebook business page, True Divine 44, and it is the True Divine for both Instagram and Twitter. Any likes, shares, subscribes, comments really do help, and I appreciate everybody who is doing that thus far. So this is the free readings that I put out, as much content as I can to help support, guide, and inspire those who want to be, need to be. Take what resonates, it is general, and leave what does not. This is for where I combine the energy work that I do, the tarot work that I do, and bring a narrative each day to help you guide your day, recognize the energies within you, around you, and within others. Hopefully make the day a little bit more clearer, and hopefully be able to navigate your way through the day so that you get the best out of each day, which is your right to do. So this is the 30th of November 2020, and we've got the Hierophant as the first card. So you see here he's sitting up on a throne. He's got the two pillars, intuition and wisdom, intuition and knowledge, either side of him, and he's got people looking up to him, listening. Now, what we see here is that what I want to mention is that we're seeing a huge shift. And be aware that we're going to see a huge shift, as in demoralization of the organized religions, particularly the Catholic, Christianity. Those religions are, I can feel it coming, that they're going to be demoralized. They're going to be it's the start of seeing the extinguishing of those organized religions. Now, where I would usually be clapping and cheering and saying yay, because that's exactly what I would want, this is again both like the truth and the lie, the gift and the oppression, in that it is not us as people recognizing that organized religions such as those have been constructed to help control and oppress the collective at any given time, and actually have taught a lot about spirituality, but not taught it in a way that people can use it for themselves, not taught it in a way to show people how divine and sovereign they are and what actually their true birthrights are. So they've done a lot to limit the collective. They've done a lot to cause harm, war, child abuse. So usually we would be clapping, right, to see a dissolving, a diminishing of such organized religions. But again, it is that truth and the lie, in that it is not us that are doing this because of the knowledge that we have gained. It is not those leaving the church that have liberated their minds from the spell that that organized religion puts upon them. It is done from these, just like every system has been infiltrated by these globalist, sounds a bit like kebab elite group. They've also done that in the religions, for hundreds of years. And so this has morphed, and we've seen that actually from underneath, from the foundations, there has been people who have been posing as high officials of those organized religions, but actually are there to build it up and then be able to pull it down. So we're going to start to see that. Now, that's where we will see a gap, a void. That's where we will see very unhinged people, because it's not that they're liberating themselves from the spell work that keeps them in that organized religion. It is that it's just no longer of use as it used to be to these elite circles, these hidden hands. So they're not going through the natural process of the liberation that would keep them sane, that would, yes, it's harsh to do, but it does it level by level. You go at a pace. This is a rug from under the feet, a carpet pulled from under the feet scenario. So be aware of that, particularly if you have people in your family, in your close circle, that are still under this kind of spell. This I feel is coming. It's already happening. We're starting to see parts of that come out with a link that I put in a lot of the videos of when I picked up on this months ago of Vigano's speech, the Archbishop Vigano, absolutely stating that, you know, the world is being taken over by globalists and we've actually had them infiltrate our church. And so look at that. I'll try and find the link again. If not, it's in some of my other videos in the description box. So be aware of that. There's not much you can do apart from be there. But again, the being there is limited to them being ready to hear you, to being ready to, and that, of course, this is a process that should not and could not be rushed. And so to try and rush it, for you to try and exhaust yourself to do that, isn't going to work, and it's going to cause problems for you also. So this is a sadness. Now conversely, we're going to see a lot of people who have been aware and awake for some time, who have been seeing things and who have been gaining in their intuitive skills, feel even bigger release from these constructs being pulled down. Now, this is important because this is the duality, and this is where we can sneak in and be powerful with this, in that we have the 10 of Cups to clarify this Hierophant. Now, the Hierophant, the major arcana, speaks of giving knowledge to those with ears to hear and eyes to see. It gives the layers of the knowledge, the esoteric, exoteric, and mesoteric. And so it gives all of the aspects of that, and it gives it in doses. So for the guys, you guys, a lot of you that listen, I know, have been going through the process over this lifetime, in particular over the last 10, 15 years of awakening, being aware. You've been given these pearls of knowledge, of wisdom, in doses, in layers. But it is that still we are going to be shocked at some of the illusions and some of the oppressions that we have been living under. We are then going to be conversely shocked with this 10 of Cups of what our spiritual alignment and attainment actually can create, the powers that we actually have innately inside us without these limitations put in like boxes and blockers on them. And so this is huge. So be aware of this. This also speaks to a lot of people feeling the so-called ascension symptoms. And so this is where, for me, I feel the frequency changing. There is a lot of tension in the neck area, in the head area, headaches, sleepless nights. And I think this is attributed to this shift that we're going into the age of Aquarius, coming out of the boxes that organized religions in particular have put us in for a long, long time. And so this is where we, as aware and awake spiritual beings, can really swim in that expansion and really push ourselves to expand even further, to know even more, to want to know even more. And so this is a powerful day for that. And with it being the full moon, this is crazy energy, in that it is crazy good for those people that I've just spoken of, in that you will feel this elevation, almost out of body experience. That speaks to what's on the bottom of the deck with the Four of Swords. Meditate today. Take time to meditate tonight before you go to bed. Take time to really connect with self, really connect with what will make me feel emotionally aligned, what will make me feel whole, what will make me feel this 10 of Cups that is mine for the taking. And go into that meditation with intent to expand your knowing and your intuitive skills. And so we see here that we have the 6 of Coins, 6 of Pentacles as the next card. So this speaks of Now, this speaks of generosity, it speaks of reciprocity, and it feels like a lot of the people who are finding that spiritual alignment outside of the physical boxes that society tries to put it in, the labels and the names of the cults, basically, of organized religion. We're seeing that with this Knight of Wands, to clarify this Six of Pentacles, what do I want to say about this? So this Knight of Wands in the upright, we had it in the reverse, so this is good to see it in the upright, is the converse of the reverse, in that this is a kindly people person. This is somebody who is in flow and is able to pick up on the synchronicities and the energies around them in order to be channeled into directions that is they're finding their way, feeling their way, rather than having a strict agenda. And so it feels like a lot of you have the gift of, one, giving to others today, and finding that Knight of Wands energy within you, in that you're being you're using your intuition, and you're being channeled by your passions in a good way, to know where to put your pentacles, to know where to be generous, and also learning how to receive. There's a lot of people in the spiritual community in particular that still have a lot of healing to do around that. I had a lot of healing to do around that, and I still have to work on it now. I'm better at gifting to people rather than taking from people. And so the wisdom of knowing how to receive, that everything is in balance. And so giving out this generosity and being able to then feel the reciprocity without guilt, just with the happiness and uplifted frequency of the Knight of Wands, is a powerful thing for you to do also today, and puts out a fabulous pulse through your electromagnetic self, through your aura, into the collective of this giving and receiving spirit. And coming into Aquarius, it is about, community. It is about being, working with people, getting along, and looking outside of the boxes that we've previously put ourselves into, or allowed others to put ourselves into. Now we have the Two of Pentacles here as the next card, and you can see this guy has got this sort of authority figure looking over him, and he's had to work real hard to put a huge bag of whatever it is, grain, to get a very small amount of coins in the balance for it. And this asks us to look at what we've been doing in our own lives. Have we been acting like slaves? Have we been accepting the fact that there are some that sit in their high towers doing nothing, and gaining a lot, while we accept the slave mentality in our own mindset? And so looking at different ways of going forward in that Aquarius type energy, finding more innovative ways to work less, earn more, do less, enjoy more, having more of a balance. We've been in this rat race for far too long now, and we're coming out of it, and we need to be open to that, and not be stuck in that slave mentality of it's okay for us to slave away while others gain off our backs. Now, during 2020, as far as a collective note today, we need to start taking notice of the fact that businesses are suffering. Businesses have closed somewhat indefinitely in many cases, because of people having double standards, allowing themselves to keep corporations opening, governments. We've been allowing our governments worldwide to give to huge corporations, yet they are telling us that we cannot earn for ourselves, we cannot provide for ourselves, that we will be closed down. There is no difference, even if you want to believe in the big V, there is no difference between a huge cooperative shop opening up and having thousands of people through its doors every day to a small shop that is probably cleaner because there's less to maintain, there's less space for as many people to go in. There is no difference. So we need to wake up to this, and that is to release ourselves from this slave mentality, that we won't just do what we are told, even especially when what we're being told does not make any kind of sense, there's no wisdom in that at all. There's no science in it. There is no extra risk in it. And even if there is, the risk of us being even more dependent on these slave masters that we see behind us is very detrimental to you individually and as a collective. So again, looking back at that Six of Coins, where are we put in our pentacles? Where are we put in our worth? Are we being the Knight of Wands and knowing our worth? Are we being the Knight of Wands and liking our attainments, our things that make us feel good, that fire us up inside? Or are we just, breaking our backs to please tyranny? So that's something that we do need to work on today, especially through meditation, especially with this full moon, to release ourselves from this slave mentality, from the yes sir, no sir, 3 bags full sir mentality. With this 8 of Wands clarifying this 2 of Pentacles, it's in reverse. And so the movement is making you feel more struggle, if this resonates with you today. The oppression, the heaviness on your shoulders is getting even heavier because the energy is blocked. The 8 of Wands in the upright is movement, fast movement, wands flying through the air. This is very stressful in the reverse with the 2 of Pentacles, in that it's causing a lot of mental anguish, physical anguish, sustainability anguish. And so it's time to get that fire back, turn that 8 of Wands in the upright and go against these tyrannical beings that are being the puppets for the beings, the archonic energy that I'm picking up on. With that being said, on the bottom of the other deck, we have the Ace of Swords. Look at what is happening and what is now. The fact that we're being sold all of this, bullshit science, and real doctors are speaking out even more now because they can see the writing on the wall also, that this is a takeover, this is a coup. We need to look at the head of the snake and go with clarity and knowing and strength in our mindset of taking off the head of the snake. How do we do that? How do we move forward with that? Well, basically, because of the control we've allowed these beings to have, and I say beings at the top because I don't feel human, because we've allowed the control to get to this point, then, violence, things like that don't really serve the purpose. What serves the purpose is to go against the blockades that this 8 of Wands in reverse and this 2 of Pentacles that they're putting in our way. For everybody simultaneously today, how powerful would it be on the full moon that we would close this cycle with us saying, this and far and no further. We are opening up our businesses. We are taking our children out of school until, even if we've got to take them to damn work, until we can see that you are working for us rather than working for beings that have been controlling us for far too long, feeding off our backs, watching us break our backs, taxing us in all ways, shape and form, because it's just not balancing out at all now. So that's where the power is. That's where the many is. And so please do that, because it would make such a difference to this spiritual and psychological warfare that is going on right now. As a side note, actually, no, I'm going to do, no, I'll just tell it on here in case I don't get it done. So as a side note, a vision that has kept coming back and forth, but then got very, very clear, is that to watch out, and this is, it was in many countries, to watch out for, you know, literally the men in black, you know, seeing, instead of police officers, starting to see even mixed up with police officers, building up to this, was just men in black, you know, black, big blacked out cars, you know, fully black uniform, looking like a SWAT team, but even more badass. And they were gonna basically trick us into believing that they have more power than the police. They don't. It feels like they were just, you know, and people were just kowtowing down to them. We need our men. We need our men in action to be ready to stand up against this worldwide. They're doing that in France right now. But it feels like this introduction of, they've already been pre-programming us, and I realized this within the vision of the, you know, the construct of the police as we know it, both in the USA and Australia and the UK and France and Germany, you know, to be cancelled out. They've already started pre-programming us through the, in particular, the election system in the USA, in the pre-programming us to say that, you know, that we don't need the police, or defund the police, I think it was, and they were never going to do that. They've done it to a certain extent, but that was more for the point of view of pre-programming us for these new people to be coming in. There's actually, if we get them now, if we don't do as we're told now with these men in black, which is imperative, then we have a chance of showing the world that these people don't have power until we give them it. But it wasn't pretty. These people are violent. These people are MK ultra to the point where it's like they get given a command and they just do it, whether it's man, woman, or child, that they're doing it too. So be aware of that, and that's where I feel this is going. That's where I feel as a potential timeline that we need to avoid. And if we can't avoid it altogether, then we do need to stand against it. No more of this wishy-washy, okay, I'll close my business if you give me £1,000 for the month to just get by. You know, no more of that. That's just all, you know, putting off the inevitable to these people, you know, doing this coup. But it is a coup like we've not seen before. So this is it's heavy. It's a heavy vision to have. It wasn't enjoyable to have, and it keeps coming back. So be aware of that. If you spot anything like that, you know, the police themselves are acting differently. And I picked up on this last year where I said to quite a few people, I can't remember if I said it on a video, of, you know, the police are being, certain parts of the police are being retrained to be more animalistic, to be prepared to be the trigger, you know, for this time that we're in right now. And we're seeing that they're not negotiating at all. They're being rude. They're actually going against the law in the UK in a lot of ways, bluffing their way into people's homes, in particular student accommodation. So they're not to be trusted. And I know that the other thing that they had us divided on, and this is so sad for the good people in the police, because of course they're not all bad, and of course many people have joined the police wanting to do good, but this is where it was another trick to, you know, support blue, you know, support the blue line, or whatever the slogan was, whatever the hashtag was. And that caused, you know, the divide, because actually those people weren't seeing the change in the police system. So again, you had a lot of people, and rightfully so in a way, defending what they know to be good officers, some of them family members, some of them just knowing them as friends. But but they weren't seeing actually what the majority now of the police officers that have been retrained, reconditioned were doing and are doing. And so again, that leaves a lot of people who were supporting the blue line, the police, with egg on their face, because it was a trick. And I feel also, I do really feel for the police officers that are good, that did want to do good, that did get into the job to protect people and do all of the things that police officers should do. But again, we're at a point where, I don't mess about with words. We're at a point now where if you are one of those good officers and you're listening, leave the job. Because it's going to get even just as dangerous for you being a good officer within where the police system is going, where they're trying to push the police system out and bring this new system of control in, almost like religious police, militant. Then, the good officers are in just as much danger, if not more, than the general public are from those officers that are not good. So brush up on whatever law you can, brush up on the current things that I know Section 17 is getting tossed about in the UK, saying that they've got a right. Now, don't quote me on this, look into it, but it seems like they haven't actually got a legal right under Section 17 to check your home with the COVID marshals. So be aware of that, be discerning, do your reading up, do your get your clarity, because these people aren't giving off the best of energy. Be quiet about that now. There's a little one in the room. And so that being said, that is the reading for the 30th of November 2020. Happy full moon. Do that meditation. Bring in and manifest your greatest desires. Dream big. Do not put barriers on yourself, for goodness sake. We've had enough of those for too long. You can dream and attain whatever you want to. And to be honest, doing that would be the greatest frequency poured into the collective that you could possibly do, because it is putting out that divine and sovereign self-sustainable energy. I love you all. Thank you for listening. Bye. Bye. Much love, much wholeness and balance. Bye.
And if you have some, and if you have and if you don't have dryer, and if you don't even have a car, just save a full car.
Yeah, just save up for a car if you haven't got one.
Just save.
Good advice, little man.